Okay, we're in there. These little plugs that I'm pulling out of the ground, if I jump, they pull out faster. And here we are with our first Kong buddy. In Donkey Kong Country Returns, you only had access to Diddy. And unlike the classic Donkey Kong Country games, you can't just pick one of the Kongs to play as. You always play as Donkey, and then you pick up one of the other Kongs that gets on your back, and it gives you some sort of extra ability. Diddy's ability, unfortunately, is kind of useless in this game, above water, that is. He just gives you a jetpack, which, while very useful in Donkey Kong Country Returns, mainly because that was your only option, it's severely outclassed by Dixie's hair, which we'll get to in a little bit. Reason why we're using him here is because World 1 is kind of dull for this run, sadly. It's kind of the tutorial world. Each of the first 3 levels are just like giving you, you know, specifically one of the 3 Kongs so you can kind of try them out. Alright, relatively clean 1-1. Again, there's not going to be much to World 1, so really, if you guys have donations, you can actually go ahead and read some right now. I'll explain stuff as we go.
Okay, sweet. First of all, we have a $20 donation from Tay Putty. He says, "Hey guys, donating in part because I couldn't donate as much as I would have liked during SGDQ due to being in Germany on holiday. Good luck to Spike and put this towards the Portal 2 credits singing." And we also have a $30 from Yash Ichi. "For the good man, lively raccoon, to suffer with hardcore Bomberman." So that's what he's putting his money towards. And then we have one more donation from Martigen. He says, "Hey there, I didn't donate money for SGDQ, so I thought why not here instead? It still has Spike. It's awesome from there. No, it's basically the same thing. Let Spike decide where this money goes. P.S. Sorry for the hard name." So any idea where you'd like that to go?
Sure, I guess if somebody maybe wants to link the incentives, and then I can look at that in between levels.
Okay, sure. Which chat would you like me to link that in?
You can link that in the main chat.
Okay.
I guess to explain another little piece of tech there, at the beginning you might have noticed there was a Dixie barrel that I could have grabbed. However, I don't want to grab Dixie at the start because Diddy is actually the only place in this game where he's actually useful in terms of going fast is underwater. His little jetpack is the fastest you can go underwater, and it saves quite a bit of time. You don't have to switch to Dixie there at the end like I did. However, if you don't, that makes that final jump off that little fly much, much harder. So you can kind of that way you can kind of cheese it, take a hit, and then bounce off of him and flutter up there with Dixie. You can't gain any height with Diddy, sadly. You can just hover and still cross gaps. And now that we have Cranky, this game just turned into DuckTales. The addition of Cranky, which a lot of our community calls Master Cranks, definitely kicks this game up the speedrun levels. Let's see if I can get this. This might... Nah. Okay, that's not a big deal. So I messed up lining up one of the jumps back there, so sadly I had to lose Cranky. It's not a big deal. It really doesn't slow down the end of this level hardly at all. Oh, that being said, I almost missed that jump. That would have been hilarious. And now instead, all that means is 2 levels from now at the boss level, I have to grab him at the beginning, so it only costs a few seconds. But yeah, in case anyone wasn't keen on why I call it DuckTales, his cane is the most overpowered thing in this game. It allows you to essentially pogo off of anything. Pogoing is a good alternative to maintaining your top speed. It doesn't lose any speed if you're able to use it correctly, and you can gain a ton of height off of it. The only thing weak about Cranky is that, unlike Diddy and Dixie, you can't save yourself by hovering over gaps or anything. So I guess it's kind of the advanced character to use, but I don't know. Probably if you're playing the game casually, most people ended up just using Dixie a lot, which makes sense. Alright, so here's the first auto-scroller in the game. One thing that's great about this game, I think, compared to Returns, is there's far less auto-scrolling. There's only 4.5 levels of auto-scrolling compared to the Returns any percent route, which was like, I think it was something like 10 or so. So, yeah, much, much better. Also, you might be noticing these banana tokens that I'm picking up throughout the run. I actually want 90 of them so I can buy 6 15 token items later in the game, which are going to speed up a few levels and really just help with consistency, mainly on one boss, which we'll get to when we get there. I'll explain a little bit more. The only way to really speed up these minecart levels is by jumping up slopes. Like, theoretically, the most consistent way to save time on these levels is just by jumping the entire time. I'm not really keen on doing that, honestly. It might save frames, but it also makes it more dangerous as you go. Plus, it's just kind of annoying to jump everywhere. Woo-hoo! But yeah, again, after this, we've got one boss to tangle with, and then World 1's over with, thankfully. Again, I really enjoyed this game, but I feel like they kind of... I don't know, I felt like they went way too far in the tutorial route for World 1. I think the game really comes into its own starting in World 2. And it definitely becomes much more challenging starting in World 2. Also, shouts to already over 500 viewers. Thanks everyone for showing up.
Yeah, thank you. Is this a good time to read donations?
Yeah, you can go ahead for a donation. Again, just this boss, there's not a lot to him. I have to grab Cranky at this rotating barrel at the start because I screwed up 1-3 a little bit. But other than that, it's just... I guess the only thing I'll note about this boss is that, again, Cranky... Another thing that's overpowered about Cranky's cane is that it can bounce on anything, including spikes and spiked enemies. So there's two different points where he's going to throw out enemies, and there will be spiked ones there. Until you clear out all the enemies, you can't actually go on with the fight. They will go away eventually, so you can still beat it with Diddy and Dixie. But obviously that just means Cranky can clear them out and it makes it go by faster. So anyways, yeah, other than that, pretty boring boss fight. So go ahead for donations, however you'd like.
Okay, we have a $25 donation from Moonglyph. He says, let's get the donations started. This may not be as big as Games Done Quick, but let's not forget, it's the spirit that counts, not the wall size. This goes towards hearing Zernernicus singing. Have fun. And as a little reminder, we are $5 away from getting Zernernicus to sing the credits.
Kill me, I still can't at that Google Drive.
Gotta play it a little safe here because he didn't give me a heart after that hit. Oh, still didn't give me a heart. It's like a 75% chance they'll pop out a heart if you're not at full health. So the fact that I've had it 2 times in a row now is kind of unlucky, but it just means I gotta play this a little safe. Okay. So again, you see these little spiked enemies. I wouldn't be able to get rid of them if I was if I had Diddy or Dixie on my back. Cranky is preferred for almost all the bosses. Actually, now that I think about it, he's actually preferred for all the bosses. I forgot we actually changed the final boss strategy to using him, even though it makes it a little riskier. Alright. And for these little sequences they give you for each of the bosses, where you're allowed to rack up however many hits you can get in a certain amount of time. If you just instantly waggle, it breaks it, and you only get in one hit, but it ends it immediately. So anyways, yeah, that's World 1. That's a pretty standard World 1. The only thing that really, like, is meaningful in that is whether or not you make the jumps in 1-3 to where you don't have to grab Cranky at the beginning of one boss. So anyways, I think this is where the run really starts. The next 3 levels are all pretty cool, so hopefully I execute them correctly. 2-1's not too bad, but after this, 2-2 and 2-3 are 2 of the most brutal levels in the run. So hopefully I execute those well. And you might notice right here, this is a level where they give you a Dixie barrel at the start. We actually don't want to switch to Dixie, because Cranky speeds up 2-2 quite a bit. Even though he's actually a little bit slower in the IL for 2-1. So jump to these guys. Roll, little bounce, and go. Okay. Also, shouts to the soundtrack for this game, one of my favorite modern soundtracks.
Yeah, I absolutely love this soundtrack too.
Alright, so if you had Dixie, the reason why she's faster in this level is because you can actually jump off this immediately and hover down to the end. But again, we're net going to gain more time for keeping Cranky. Alright, good 2-1. This game's pretty good about, like, as you get later in the run, most of the barrels you run into, the Buddy Kong barrels, are rotating barrels. So you can kind of customize it however you want. However, in this little stretch at the beginning of World 2, they seem to really want to introduce Dixie to you. So 2-1 and 2-2, your only option if you start from... if you just grab your Kong there, will be to get Dixie. So if I die, I can't do the strats in 2-2. So to explain a little bit about 2-2, this level, like, probably at its strongest points from a speedrunning standpoint, is that there's a lot of cool ways to maintain your momentum off of moving platforms, which is what I'm going to be trying to do in starting off in this level and a couple levels later on. I essentially want to roll off of a moving platform, and then by utilizing Cranky's Pogo, because you're on the ground for so little, you maintain that platform's momentum. So you'll see it hopefully later in the level. It's relatively difficult to pull off. This is probably one of the hardest levels in the game, honestly, thrown at you pretty early on. This is also normally supposed to be a Rambi level. You'll see Rambi in the second half, but I like to not use him until then. So let's see here. Okay, I screwed that up a little bit. Okay, that's not a big deal. I could have not had to wait for the rabbit there, but I messed up my controls at one point. Alright. So here's where I switch to Rambi. Oh. And that's the hardest part of the game. Actually breaking the Rambi barrel and then moving afterwards. Let's see. There's a little one you'll see up here. I'll usually pull up out of it pretty early on if I can tell I missed it. Oh, okay, cool. I actually didn't miss the little one. Not a big deal, though. Here's the big one. Okay, I hit it. Nice. Alright. I actually kind of screwed it up at the beginning, but was able to make an adjustment. Each of those, it's like a very specific amount. You have to, like, it's specific timing for when to pull out the pogo. Or the, I always call it a pogo, it's a cannon. But it's, yeah, that's not just like holding right. It's very specific, like, where you have to hit each of those. Alright, so very happy to execute that level correctly. I messed up the bunny hop at the beginning, but whatever. So again, each of those were able to happen because I maintained my momentum off of the moving platforms. And I didn't lose it because I kept Cranky's pogo out. Alright, this next level can be very brutal because it's full of pits, and everything's based off of a universal timer based on the music. So if you screw up one thing, you have to then make tons of adjustments as the level goes. Hopefully I just don't make any mistakes. Immediately make a mistake. Alright, so this could be interesting. Oh, I made it. Okay. Okay. I have to once again make adjustments there. Alright. Hopefully these guys aren't jerks to me. Yeah, that stinks. Alright, so I lost Cranky. If I play well here, that doesn't have to be a big deal. It's more so just being slow at the end of the level. Oh, whoops. Can I get the grass? Can I get the grass? Can I get the grass? Nope. Alright, so losing a little bit of time here at the end. Again, if I had kept Cranky at the end of this level, like, there's no reason I had to necessarily lose the time. If I had jumped at the correct timing, then I wouldn't have lost it, but losing Cranky makes that much harder. You basically have to be perfect when you make your jumps, and it'd been forever since I lost Cranky before then. All of it was basically caused by a mistake I made at the very beginning of the level. So like I said, the level can be brutal because you make one mistake, and you have to make all these adjustments throughout the level. Then it doesn't really matter for later levels because this next level is just an auto-scroller, so Cranky didn't matter. And the next level I'm supposed to switch to Dixie at the very beginning anyways, so not a big deal. Still happy not to die in that level, honestly, so whatever.
Just wanted to say that from Yashichi's donation, we already met the Bomberman 64 donation instantly.
And so yeah, same sort of deal here with the auto-scrollers. This is the last minecart level. Basically just jumping up platforms is the most basic way to save time. Again, I could constantly jump, but I'm not really too keen on that, so whatever. And yeah, this being another auto-scroll, this is a good place if you guys want to read off donations or anything.
Okay. We have $5 from LP3 Cinema. He says, this might be the only donation, but I thought I'd do it when Spike is running. Good luck on everyone's run, and good luck, Spike. Great run so far, smiley face.
Thank you very much.
Also, if you don't know already, SOC is a 24-hour long marathon. It's 7 days a week, providing money for Doctors Without Borders, which is a non-profit charity organization that services over 60 countries across the world that cannot adequately afford care they need to live, namely Latin America, Africa, and Asia. So please check out the donations down below if you would like to donate. And we have all sorts of donation incentives to donate for games, so you're not. And also, we do have an official hashtag SRC2014 on Twitter, and you can use it on other social networks as well. The next upcoming streamer is Talon2461. He will be doing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. He's doing any %.
Also, shoutouts to NKB. I completely forgot what you told me. So, it's kind of weird that, for whatever reason, if you don't jump up this slope, then it makes these final jumps much easier. I don't know why that's the case. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. So, if you jump up the slope like I did, while you do save some frames, it makes those jumps, like, close to pixel perfect. It's really odd. Shoutouts to first death of the run happening in an auto-scroller. Oh well. And
Best place to die at, right?
Yeah. Again, I didn't know that for the longest time. I was just instinctively like, alright, let's jump up slope. So yeah, you technically do save frames, but it makes those jumps, like, close to pixel perfect, which is really odd. Also, shoutouts to the entire Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze community. I would say there's a good, maybe, like, 10 of us so far who have put in serious time to single segments of this. Alright, so the return of Dixie. Even if I had kept Cranky from a few levels ago, I would still switch to Dixie here. She allows you to cross gaps that you otherwise would not be able to. Let's see if I get these. I got those. You might be wondering why I was making a bigger deal about those jumps. When you try to do boosted jumps off of enemies while either Diddy or Dixie are on your back, it actually becomes much harder. The window is much smaller because the game naturally thinks you want to hover or something afterwards, which all this is done with the A button. The window is definitely larger than it was in Returns. In Returns, those jumps when Diddy was on your back was, like, basically impossible. So there were a lot of cases where you intentionally lost Diddy just so the jumps would get easier. But yeah, they're still relatively tight. Okay.
By the way, just to let the chat know, we do have a lot of bid war donations. So you want to make sure and get your bids in for that. The highest bid does get to choose the file name or the color, etc. So check the schedule for those bid wars.
Also file names, that's another bid war thing that's going on.
Yep, file names as well.
For Majora's Mask, we're going to need that one in about 24 hours early because we have to make a specialized file for that run itself. So if you want to donate for that, you have to get that in early.
First level where you're going to see two Kongs kind of split time. Well, I guess you actually saw it in 1 too, so I was lying to you right there, but that's besides the point. I'm actually going to be switching to Cranky about halfway through the level. I guess it's more like about 2/3 the way into the level. Because he actually speeds up the final section, and he's basically required to speed up the final or the boss of World 2. No reason to go for that O, I just go for it because why not? If you die there, it's pretty painful, but yeah, it is what it is. Also, all rotating barrels in all levels are based on universal timers, so as soon as you start the level, they start rotating. Also, I have a ton of tokens right now. There's a little bit of RNG with tokens in this game. Mainly, like, on the first 2 bosses. It'll be in the next world. Also, another cool spot where you get to see maintaining momentum by not touching the ground for more than half a second. Be sure not to drop here, otherwise the ground's going away, so... That'd be death. Alright. So again, Cranky's Pogo allowed us to move through that last section a little faster than we would have been able to with Dixie. And it works out conveniently because now we get to have him for the boss. Again, as you probably be able to tell, you can gain tons of height with Cranky and his cane. I'm trying my best not to call it a Pogo, because it's not a Pogo. But yeah, this boss is incredibly punishing if you miss any hits against him. If you miss a hit in the final phase, then you lose like 45 seconds. So this boss has cost a lot of runs over the time that we've all been doing them. But yeah, with his ability to gain so much height, I can pick up these little eggs or baby owls, and I can throw them just high enough to hit, like, his toes, basically. With the other Kongs, you usually have to use the platforms on the side, or just wait until he starts flying down. Let's see here. Whoops. Cool. Kind of screwed up and got hit at the beginning of the first phase, but not a big deal. I had to play it a little safe, probably cost like a second. But yeah, normally these phases should not be going that fast. This is the most complicated phase. I have to hold on to this guy and wait for the other guys to get on screen before I actually hit him. If you don't pick them up, then they're on a timer where eventually they'll go away. Alright, so didn't screw up the second phase at all, that's good. Oh, of course. Well, I didn't screw it up till I didn't jump in the barrel optimally, but it is what it is. Okay, final phase. Again, the first two phases cost you probably a good 15-20 seconds if you miss a hit. This one, missing any of these 3 hits will cost you like 45 seconds. Because he'll go through this entire phase again where he shoots all those wings at you. You'll have to watch all these guys come down. Once again, I had a ton of tokens. Still getting tokens. It's RNG. Again, gonna hit him, pick him up so he doesn't go away. Now, I'm going to hold on to this guy. There's 2 more hits I have to deal. And I'm going to elect to jump on him for the 8th hit while I'm still holding this guy. And then throw the 9th one at him when he comes up. Okay, I didn't miss him. Alright. Oh, whoops. Alright, so we didn't screw up the boss. I will take that. Overall, World 2 had a few rough patches to it. Obviously, the death at the end of 2.4 was pretty dumb. Trying to save frames, lost probably 20-30 seconds, but whatever. And end of 2.3 was a bit of a spaghetti fest, but we're going on. World 2 is quite a big step up for World 1 from World 1 when you're learning this game. And welcome to World 3, which kicks off with probably a lot of people know this maybe from watching the game trailers leaked video. Or not game trailers, but game explain. This is the basically the Lion King level. I'll pretty much just shut up and let you guys watch it. Take it safe.
Just a quick reminder that Znernicus's run did get met for seeing the credits, so he will be singing the credits. And then also Pie Pusher's run is at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today, and he will be doing Pikmin. And his donation incentive is to run challenge mode, and that's $100. So if we can get those donations in to get that met, that'd be really cool.
I have to be pretty clean with my movement. in order to get through this section clean. And well, about to make a really dumb statement there, but just to get through this section on the right cycles. Gonna be going for a relatively scary jump here. I've screwed this up a lot. Nope. Just waiting there. Alright. What happened there at you might have noticed on those puppet giraffes, if I had made the bounce off of that bird instead of having to take the barrel, then it would have saved 7 seconds. Just from catching that early cycle. But you have to be basically perfect with your movement for the entire first half of the level, and I screwed up one bounce off of a penguin you might have not really noticed. So if I had committed fully to that, I probably would have just fallen in the pit and died. So I elected to just lose the 7 seconds instead of losing way more than that. And yeah, I was trying to jump off that last moving platform, but sometimes it just doesn't work for me. I don't really understand. Hey, I cleared the bunny. All the other mistakes are alright, because I cleared the bunny. Another instance where you can see, because of Cranky's cane ability, he's able to bounce off of spiked objects. There actually is a route some people take through these first 3 levels where you actually grab Dixie in 3-1, which debatably saves time. I'm not even sold on it. The biggest thing is Dixie right there can actually just float to that barrel instead of having to jump in it. Or to the finish barrel as opposed to having to jump in the blaster barrel at the bottom, which saves like 1 second. And she can also move through the end of 3-1 a little faster, which can save like 2 seconds. Alright, so 97 tokens. It's after this level where I go to the shop and I buy all the items. I had good RNG in this run, so I didn't come up with under 90. It's not even honestly a big deal if you don't have 90. You just have to adjust a few strats later on in the game.
Roughly how much time would it waste if you got under 90?
Like, debatably none if you play correctly. Like, it's so not a big deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, again, I'll explain the main reason why we go to the shop here in a little bit. Yeah. Well, that blows. Never understand why that sometimes just doesn't work. Alright, let's see here. So I have to take this section much slower because I don't have Cranky. There's one jump back there that I don't really understand the timing of. Most of the time it works. Sadly, it didn't work this time, so I had to take that entire section really slowly. Diddy kind of gets used here because you don't have another choice if you lose Cranky. He's not faster in any way. But it's, once again, not a huge deal. This game teaches you, like, losing Kongs is similar to anybody who might be familiar with, like, Super Mario World speedrunning. Obviously, if you lose your cape, then you have to know how to adjust for it instead of just losing your run. So, you learn the backup strats pretty well. Okay. Also, again, speaking of Super Mario World, shoutouts to Rambi getting Yoshi'd right there in order to get up to that final platform faster.
Now, how have the game updates for the Wii U affected speedruns of this game?
Yeah, I only know of one update that has happened. There was apparently like a game-breaking glitch or something. I haven't even actually downloaded it, and I don't even know what it is necessarily. We've talked about wanting to like send a letter to Nintendo or Retro Studios or someone to improve the load times. Not because they're bad, because, well, I mean, they are bad, but because they're inconsistent. It causes it to where now that our times are getting pretty optimized, we have to time out all of our loads every time we have a run that's relatively close to possibly being world record. It's an issue that PC runners have to deal with, like, all their games. But, you know, you figure like almost any console runner doesn't have to worry about it. Even if your load times are bad, they're usually consistent. Not the case in this game, sadly. Gonna intentionally take a hit here just because it's faster than like waiting slowly through that. Want to be relatively careful though through the rest of the level because losing Dixie costs quite a bit of time. This is not a level that's very friendly to solo Donkey. Another one of my favorite tracks also. Wait and go. And you see, this is the main place where having Diddy or Dixie helps in this level. Cranky wouldn't be able to cross those gaps. So they did give you some levels where it's preferred to use, like, Dixie or Diddy, but for the most part, I think I broke it down, like, out of 41 levels, like, 28 of them or something use Cranky. So, it's still a heavy Cranky run, and Diddy's only in, like, 5 total.
Is there any levels that can use either, just depending on whether you like a certain Kong or not?
Yeah, the cool thing, like, so one thing about this game that I really like is that they cater to at least IL speedrunning quite a bit. And if you might not know what IL stands for, it stands for individual level, where instead of doing a run of a full game, you just do a single level. And they built in time attack mode into this game, where not only do you get to speedrun the entire level with a timer, and it has different rankings like bronze, silver, gold, and then shiny gold for if you're like really good. It also gives you customization where you can either play with the default barrel options, where it'll just be whatever it is normally, or you can make all the barrels automatically either Diddy, Dixie, or Cranky. And a lot of people, because, mainly people either just really like one of the Kongs, it makes it to where you can pick whichever Kong you like, and makes it really customizable. And it also helped us figure out a lot of backup strategies. Also, if you get a top time, or you just want to watch one of your friends' times, you can go watch replays of any of them. It really helped for routing this game out, actually, because a lot of videos were just right there for us. So, in the first, 2 or 3 weeks of this game, a lot of us were going really hard at it, just getting IL times, then learning off the top times. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these levels, if you don't want to use, Cranky, say, if it's a really good Cranky level, then you can switch it to Diddy and Dixie, and for the most part, you won't lose much time.
Also, a quick reminder, all the runs that you see being ran here will be recorded and uploaded to the SpeedRunsCentral YouTube channel, so if you missed any runs, be sure to check the SpeedRunsCentral YouTube channel after the marathon, and all the runs will be uploaded there.
Alright, so here's one of my favorite levels. Hopefully I don't spaghetti all over it like I did when I was on front page Twitch a couple of months ago. Bramble Scramble. Oddly enough, it does not have Sticker Brush Symphony in it, like you would expect it to. But the track's pretty forgettable, but it's a pretty cool level if you do it correctly, so let's see what happens. Ah.
So just a little reminder if you missed out, we are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, which is a non-profit charity organization dedicated to providing medical care to third world countries that cannot adequately afford the care that they need to live sustainable lives. So Doctors Without Borders serves over 60 countries across the world, and the ones that they mostly serve are Latin America, Africa, and Asia. 100% of the donations go towards a charity, but we also have donation incentives for the runs, so if you donate to the charity, you can get some cool donation incentives for the speedruns.
See, I had one little mistake there at the end, which cost me a few seconds. Other than that, like, that's fine. I'll take that level. A little bit of RNG in this boss. Hopefully it doesn't screw me over. The way this boss works is kind of odd. You'll notice as I hit them, it actually changes the color of them. Also, just RNG, not getting heart drops. Okay, there's a heart drop. As you bring each of them down, like, it's kind of weird, like, how you want to hit all of them. I can't even explain it that well, to be 100% honest. No. Tried something there. They were kind of jerks and stayed really high up. It's random how high up on the poles they'll stay. And for everything except for the, like, the very top, you can get to them with Cranky's, cane, but they stayed up pretty high, so it was kind of hard for me to line that one up. Also, another boss where Cranky is basically just required, because he can bounce off of spiked, objects, including their helmets. So Diddy or Dixie would take a much longer amount of time to defeat this boss. Any of these cases where they're swinging the hammer, you wouldn't be able to hurt them. And this might look weird, but I'm actually intentionally going to lose Cranky throughout this last phase. It doesn't cost any time, and it actually will net save me a few seconds in the next level. Okay. End of World 3. Zero out of 10. Didn't do Bramble wrong warp. Shoutouts to Closty and DKC2. RIP.
Also, we currently have over 700 viewers, so thank you all the viewers that are currently watching. And we are 5th on SRL, so that's really cool.
Dang, 700 viewers is only 5th on SRL? Who's streaming today?
Inop, ZFG, Professor Bronetman, and Cyrno.
Okay, well, that makes sense then. Alright, sick.
Yeah.
Alright, so I switched there because the way using barrels in this game works when you bring in a barrel like that you bought from the shop. Oh, whoops. Is that you actually don't switch Kongs. Yeah, whoops. That's gonna cost me a little bit of time throughout the level. Trying to explain stuff sometimes is bad. My cycles were off then, though, because I messed up the earlier hit. Oh well. The way it works in the shops, or when you bring in a barrel, is you don't actually get to switch until you lose the other Kong. So entering the level with a barrel... there it is. Okay. I got past Fatty. Good for me. That's the fastest, because then you'll pretty much instantly swap. Okay. Basically what happened there is I got the second cycle afterwards, so it cost me a few seconds losing Diddy early on. Not a big deal. And the big thing, the reason why you want to switch to Dixie, even though Diddy's faster underwater overall, is because she's required to get the secret exit in this level. Because you can see right there, with her hair ability, she's able to move against the current. Sure, let's go for it. Why not? Okay. That cycle kind of worked out well. And that allows me to get to the secret exit coming up here. So even though Diddy's faster underwater overall, she's required. So losing her here means you have to exit out of the level. Oh my gosh, I wasn't completely against the current. Okay, sick. Good job to me. The last, like, pixel of the current was still pushing me. I gave up too early. Okay. So, whatever. We successfully did not lose Dixie. There's basically two routes you can go through in this world. You can either go I'm not going to call it the intended route, but the normal route where you go through 4-2, 4-3, and 4-4. Or you can go through 4A and 4B, which you have to take the secret exits in both 4-1 and 4A. So if you miss them, you lose a lot of time. But even if I had to restart those levels like 3 times, I would still save time going this route. This route's like 4 minutes faster, so it wasn't even a question in the routing process. And here we get a pretty sick remix of Lockjaw Saga from DKC2. Again, shoutouts to David Wise in the soundtrack. So I moved a little slower in that early part of the level because I want to set up the universal cycle for this Buddy Kong barrel coming up. So that I switch to Cranky right there. Because Cranky is basically required to get up to the secret exit coming up. Stop there so I don't run into that guy. Where we go. This is a relatively scary looking ending. If I screw it up, then I have to exit the level, and again I lose like probably a minute and a half. 2, 3, 4, jump, roll, bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay, sick. I got it. That was one of those that I practiced for quite a while, because if you mess up the spacing of that, then it becomes actually just like stupidly hard to get up there normally. One of those secret exits that's, once again, while Diddy has some uses throughout the run, he's the only one who cannot get up there. Dixie and Cranky can actually gain height, so... But yeah, glad to not screw that up. Another long swimming level here. I guess the only thing to note is I'm going to be switching to Diddy coming up here pretty soon, because again, Diddy's just so much faster underwater. It kind of is sad how bad the barrel cycle turns out for, because as you can see, Diddy's right there, but you can't get to him in time, so I have to wait until the next one comes around. And other than that, it's just going to be a lot of swimming in this level. So you have any donations or anything you want to read, go for it.
Okay, we currently don't have any more donations, but I just wanted to remind everyone that Talon 2461's run is coming up, and he will be running Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. He is doing
Hero
Mode, not any percent. I needed to correct myself that time. And his ETA will be 45 minutes. So, a little bit of short of a run. And we are still taking donations for, let's see, the closest donation incentive that hasn't been met is Pipe Pusher's run, to run challenge mode in Pikmin 1. So that's $100 for that to happen. So if you would like to donate, you can donate with a credit card or with a PayPal. All the money goes to Doctors Without Borders, a non-profit charity organization.
For a lot of people, World 4 was a bit of a roadblock when they casually played the game. The annoying thing about this level is there's no checkpoints in it, so if you die, you have to do the whole thing over again. As you can see, it's all kind of just a big maze. For whatever reason, the shark never comes past that barrier. So, you're pretty much required to take the first hit to not lose a bunch of time, and you never get it the second time. Alright, so this next level, C-Stack Attack, probably one of the hardest levels in the run. It looks really smooth if I pull it off, so hopefully I execute it correctly. But yeah, we're going back above water for this one. It starts off with a swag bomb throw that if I'm going off of a visual cue on the back wall in the level for when to throw it. If I throw it correctly, then I'll catch an early cycle for switching to Cranky a little ways into the level. And then at the end of the level, I want to switch back to Diddy. So it's all based on barrel cycles. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so again. Oh, whoops. So that was an example. Yeah, I'm going to have to take the later cycle for this. Not a big deal. Actually, I can't really explain it. I'm just going to have to watch. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait.
Also, I'm going to fix this team viewer thing. Sorry about that, guys.
We're not even using Team Viewer. Why'd that go up?
Fennec probably connected.
Oh, okay. But he's not connecting with Team Viewer though. Shouldn't be.
Where am I? Okay. Not gonna go for the new strat. Not comfortable with that yet. Okay. There's a strat where with Diddy, if you can jump off and hover down to the barrel, but I haven't actually messed with that yet. That's just a strat I just figured out about the other day. But yeah, so I spaghettied over a few sections in that level. Again, it's one of the hardest to actually optimize. Again, one of those we'll just take. Alright, we didn't die. And move on.
Also, I forgot to say, we got a donation yesterday. $1 from Yoshi Pro and $10 from Tuxedo Mob saying, here's some to get started, heart.
Yeah, whoops.
Also, if you don't know already, we do have an official hashtag for this. The hashtag is #SRC2014 on Twitter, and we do have a Twitter if you would like to follow us, so I will link that right now.
Whoops.
And everyone be sure to follow the current runner, which is SpikeVegeta doing Tropical Freeze.
I know I've got a couple of Tropical Freeze members in the chat right now, actually. If you guys want to go ahead and just plug the, maybe the leaderboards or something. And we're always looking for new members. It's a really fun speed game. We've had a lot of fun with it. Races
looking forward. I'm actually looking into getting into this game once I get a Wii U. So.
Yeah, I would get it if I had the game, but I've been too lazy to get it. But I would probably run it. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, there's just tons of tech for the game, so it's really satisfying to run.
The music, man.
Yeah.
Too good.
Again, shoutouts to David Wise and his return. Diddy's just so overpowered underwater, which is good that they gave him something to hang his hat on. He's both faster and he's 1,000 times easier to control than just like constantly spinning with the other two. Sadly, there's only one more like partial water level after this in the run, so Diddy's use in this run is almost over with. It's gonna be all Dixie and Cranky from here, basically. Yeah, for what... I guess I need to submit my time again. It's highlighted on my Twitch page, if you want to go off of that. Alright, gonna go a little risky here, and only bring in 2 banana juices. So this boss is the reason why we go to the shop right now. Theoretically, you can beat this boss without the juices, which what the juices do is they make you invincible for like 20 seconds. It allows us to do this sick quick kill on him, which a lot of people probably remember this boss as being like all sorts of hell when you first played the game.
So did they get rid of the full level invincibility from Donkey Kong Country Returns?
Was that a thing in Returns? Maybe I'm not familiar with it.
I think so, like the gold potion gave you invincibility through the whole level.
Oh, yeah, that was actually just for 10 hits, however long it took you to take 10 hits.
Oh, okay, 10 hits, okay. I guess I never got 10 hits.
Ah. You were too boss? Alright, so I screwed this boss up a little bit. Let's see what Alright. So this just got a little sketchy. Might have to lose Cranky here. Oh my gosh, how did that still work? So that's how risky that fight can be, only going in with 2 banana juices. I did risk losing Cranky, which isn't so much a big deal for losing him, because you can grab him at the beginning, like, a little ways into the next level. It's more so just, it then becomes much harder to hit him without the cane itself. So, glad we survived that. Again, like, what I probably should have done was just bring in the 3rd juice, and if you happen to use the 3rd juice there, then it just slows down a later level, like, by a second or 2, but I'm dumb, so whatever.
Risky strats for the win, dude.
Yeah, dude. Alright, so welcome to World 5. I particularly think the game kicks up in difficulty in the run, starting with this freaking level, dude. This level is a hot mess. Aw, you fatty.
So is the leaderboards up to date with Goldfish being the world record holder of any percent?
I believe so. Let's just get rid of you. I don't want to deal with you right now. Yeah, I had to slow down a little bit there so I could refill my health. I need all my health, ideally, for the levels coming up. But yeah, shoutouts to Michael Goldfish, the chosen one. Did a little hop there so that I didn't fall. Alright, and can I make this? No, I don't think that really screw. Uh-oh. Yeah, I have to play this kind of safe, otherwise I would have fallen there. End of this level got pretty gross. I'll take it, I don't even care. This level's done. Didn't do King Zing, my bad. I haven't actually learned that yet. There's in case you're wondering what NKB's talking about with King Zing, there's this crazy strat in the middle of that level where I was hanging from the vines, where you can actually do pogo bounces, or cane bounces, again, I always want to call it pogo bounces, off of those little spiked balls that shoot up in the air, but it's a pretty ridiculous strat. I haven't really looked into it, but everyone else says it's pretty ridiculous to go for it. Definitely somewhere down the road, though, because you got to at some point for marathon runs. Also, starting the campaign, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for HDQ 2015.
200% for AGDQ 2015.
Woo! Yeah, that's a run. People have been
have
like
180 emblem for SC2 right after that.
Oh, sick. 180 emblem, best Sonic category out there.
Only Sonic category.
Even the great Niglaria, who can never talk bad about Sonic games, is like, that's a dumb category. Even Niglaria will turn his back on Sonic for 180 emblem. Still, shoutouts to Talon. Any of you who, like, I don't know why you would do this, but if for some reason you were like, alright, I'm going to watch Donkey and then I'm going to bounce out, I don't like Sonic, please stick around. Talon's an amazing runner. And the Sonic Adventure games are actually, probably to this day, still my favorite 3D Sonics to watch speedruns of. Really, really good stuff. One thing you might be missing, like, in the speedrun route of this game is you don't get a lot of this, like, over-the-shoulder camera angle that they threw in, this dynamic camera angle. They are in other levels in the run, but because of the routes we take, we actually end up skipping most of those levels, oddly enough. So this level and the barrel blasting for the like, 15-second barrel blasting section in 1-1 are the only instances you get to see of it.
Is this a good time for donations?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, cool. We have a $25 donation from Argic. He says, loving the Team Viewer box. Happy face. Sitting in chat, having a good time. Time to give you some money. Take it. Thank you very much. We have another $25 donation from Chris Meister. He says, this is my first time donating, but it's because I'm new to watching speedruns. I just couldn't resist donating for such a good cause. Game on. And just a little reminder, if you want to leave a comment saying where you would like your donation to go to, what donation incentive you would want to go to, you can do that as well. Otherwise, I think we're just going to let the runner of the game say where they want it to
Or
go
you
to.
can do another like $1 donation and leave it in the comment there and we will add it later.
Yeah. If you would like to change your mind or something, you can make like a $1 donation. I believe it has to be over $1 though for the donation to go through. Because
Or do a
if not,
Twitch
PayPal
PM to one of the
wouldn't
mods.
Yes, you can do that as well. PM either the main channel or either, some of the mods.
Also, shoutouts to Cruncha, one of the best runners for this game, also a really talented DKC2 runner, who came up with the route for this level. For forever we were just using Dixie in it, but he revolutionized using Cranky as well. Oh, I forgot to do the new strat. Oh well. The new strat takes like probably a second. Cranky definitely helps out for the first 2/3 level by quite a bit, but Dixie is essentially required to gain height and cross those large gaps for this final section. Alright. Next level is kind of scary in that if I take too many hits throughout, then I need to exit out of the level and come back in. Probably if I mess it up, I'll just, take my medicine and just go to 5-5 instead. It's the final secret exit we actually want to get in the run. Might look weird because I've already got Dixie and I'm bringing in a Dixie barrel. I'm actually going to switch to Diddy at the start because there's a long water section near the end of the level that Diddy net saves us, like I think it's like 8 seconds. So you switch to him, and then I'm going to purposefully take 2 hits throughout the last section, which will give me the Dixie barrel, and then I can use her hair to get through to the secret exit. Uh-oh. I'm gonna wait. Okay, you're gonna wait here, because as long as you load that guy being in the background, it takes the same amount of time for him to throw the bomb.
By the way, we're almost at 800 viewers, so thank you guys so much. And if you would get us to 800 viewers by sharing the stream with your friends, that would be really cool.
Alright, so here's the water section. Again, it just saves a bunch of time underwater, and he's just much easier to control. So I'm going to go up here, take this top route. I'm going to intentionally take a hit from this guy. Because again, I want to go ahead and lose Diddy so I can take the secret exit. And then intentionally roll through that guy. Switches to Dixie for me automatically. Get up to here, which that slight delay sets up this cycle perfectly. To where I can now roll through. And then swim directly down. Okay, so, yeah, a little bit of spaghetti right at the beginning of the level, but I'm fine with that right now. Okay, cool. So this sends us to our final secret level that we want to take, 5B. Pretty fast level. It only net saves, I think, like 10-15 seconds over going to 5-5, but still, that's pretty significant in this run right now, considering how optimized we're getting it. Oddly enough, though, we're kind of giving it like 5-5 is probably one of the freest levels in the game. That being said, I've never learned it, so I'd probably lose a lot of time if I accidentally had to go there. But 5B can be a relatively frustrating level because it's all based off of, once again, universal cycles and compounded by the fact that I have to make these pretty tight bounces off this one like row of enemies. So let's see what happens. It's right here. Alright, so. Okay, cool. I didn't screw those up. First section successfully. First bit of spaghetti successfully avoided. Want to give a slight delay here. Alright. I think this is set up well. Time for the drop. Let's see if I can do it without getting hit. Alright, good. Okay, and now we just gotta get this owl bounce. Alright, I'll take that. That was actually a pretty solid level. And the good thing is, like, most of the time I end up losing Dixie in that level because of, again, universal cycles. Like that one section where I had to drop through, like, all the spikes being on the walls. If I mess up one thing early in the level, I'm pretty much gonna take a hit there. So that sets it up to where I don't have to grab the barrel at the beginning of this level, which is in a really awkward spot. Pretty much always costs you time. Or costs you, like, a good amount of time, I should say.
We have a $10 donation from Cruncha. He says, thanks for the shout out on Fruity Factory Spike. Glad to donate for a good cause and hope to see Tropical Freeze community grow in the coming months.
Oh. Shoutouts to Cruncha once again. Thank you, sir.
So with that donation, they actually brought us up to $161, or $171, excuse me, in total. So that's pretty based. The fact that we've already made that much in just a little over an hour is pretty amazing. So thank you guys all to, or excuse me, thanks all to us donated, and keep it coming.
Ice physics are really cool in this game in that you can actually store momentum pretty well. You can maybe notice a little bit of it back there. All those hits I took were pretty much intentional, so other than missing a platform early in the level, that was pretty solid. Overall, this has been a pretty solid World 5, to be honest. Now we've got the boss that, for whatever reason, I am a choke artist at. Like, no one else who runs this game actually has an issue with him, but I've been known to screw him up a lot. Hopefully it all goes well and I don't have to repeat him, because dying to him costs, like, especially dying late in the fight like I do sometimes, costs you, like, over 3 minutes, so don't do that. Gonna grab Cranky here. There's a little bit of RNG to the boss. I can adjust for it if he gives me bad RNG here on this second hit. But I'd rather he just gives me good RNG. Essentially, there are two different patterns he can pop out with the ice blocks coming up here. He either gives me a bomb in the third or the fourth. He gave me bad RNG. Let's see if I'm able to get this anyways. No. Alright, so he gave me bad RNG and then I wasn't able to adjust for it very well. It's pretty precise movement you have to do, so that net loses me, I think, like 20 seconds or so. Basically, instead of him jumping 3 times like this and then throwing more ice blocks at you, which now, because he also gave me bad RNG and didn't give me a heart. Let's see, I'm gonna have to play this a little safe. Oh, wait. Okay, we got it. Okay, cool. Alright. That worked out. It was a little slow, but I kept Cranky. You really don't want to lose Cranky here, otherwise you're kind of, you know, whether or not you die in this fight can be a little bit up to RNG, because Donkey has no way to, like, get up on top of these blocks. And then they can just push you off into the abyss. But yeah, there were 2 different patterns. The bomb could have either been in the 3rd or the 4th block. He always throws out 4 blocks, so if it ends up being in the 3rd one, you have a much bigger window to hit him with the bomb, and essentially cancel his trying to slam the mallet into the ground. Which, by canceling it, that means he'll start off with that for the 3rd hit, meaning he'll instantly be exposed instead of doing the jumping around 3 times like he did. Again, marathon luck, so whatever.
Marathon luck always gets to you.
Yeah, dude. And I was talking to Checkers about it before his Mega Man 3 run at SGDQ, and I was talking to him about, like, how he got bad luck on Turtles, which, if anybody's familiar with that game, that regularly kills 34 attempts, or, you know, whatever level you happen to be at, because it can waste, like, 10-15 seconds. And I was just like, oh, that sucks. And he was like, I don't care. I think that's a good mindset to go in with marathon runs. Like, if it's out of your control, just let it be out of your control and don't stress about it. Okay,
That was
nice.
pretty much his mentality of that whole run.
Right. Again, shoutouts to maybe the best GDQ run we've ever seen.
Yeah,
Great
people were
job,
congratulating on it, and he was like, oh, I thought it was a bad run, but whatever.
Did he really say that?
Pretty much, I saw him say that in, I think, GP's chat or something, I don't know. But he was like, what, 22 seconds off world record?
Yeah, only 3 people have ever achieved that time.
Wow.
Oh, and it says we got another donation, a $4 donation from P-Soul444. He says, "Dear Spike, I love your face. It's really nice. Love, Patty." Heart.
Hey, thanks, Patty.
Oh, he's got a $100 donation. Oh my
Whoa,
god, from
$100.
Tuxedo Mob. And like I said, he donated $10 yesterday, so that puts him at 110. He says, "From Tuxedo Mod with love. That I had to go back on, or that I have to go back out on the Squeak Squad race, so hopefully this will make up for it." Oh, that sucks. Tuxedo Mob was going to be racing Kirby Squeak Squad, but luckily the other runner should still be good to go. But yeah, that is incredible.
Thank you very much, Tuxedo Mob.
He's literally donated like half of the money. He's got another $25 donation from Beanopolis. He says, "Many thanks for SpikeVegeta for starting off the marathon strong with an awesome game. XOXO." Thank you so much to all 3 of you donations. That is incredible. We're at like 300 right now, actually. So that's crazy, man.
Thank you for all the people that are donating. And just to let everyone else know what they're donating for, they're donating towards Doctors Without Borders, which is a non-profit charity organization dedicated to providing medical care to third world countries that cannot adequately afford the care they need to live in sustainable lives. Doctors Without Borders also services over 60 countries across the world, namely Latin America, Africa, and Asia.
Alright, we held on to Cranky, which is important because of this last skip. Okay, cool. I hate that level. Anybody who watches my stream regularly or anybody who runs this game knows I hate that level quite a bit. So, happy it's over with. The level can lose you a ton of time just because, as you can see, that ending... Like, there is a backup strat that doesn't lose much time with Solo Donkey at the end. But the game only gives you the barrel right at the start. So... And you pretty much are required to take that hit, or you lose a couple of seconds near the beginning. So going through that level optimally is really hard. It's probably the level where I take the most quote-unquote baby strats. There's like 3 baby strats in there where I give up a second to make sure I don't lose Cranky. Okay.
By the way, shoutouts to Fire Dragon 764 for raiding us. Thank you so much for the raid.
So here's the other place where I'm using a banana juice. Nice, I got the full extension there. This is another level that looks really cool with Cranky if you can pull it all off. Basically, having the banana juice through that section back there allows us to not have to use the ropes to get across. So it net saves, like, I think we decided it was like a second.
Dang, this raid's pretty strong.
I'd say good raid.
Just a little. We're almost at 1K viewers, which is incredible to think about.
Yeah, especially when this is just the first run. It's crazy.
This is the first marathon we've even done.
About to say $300 in the first, like, hour and a half is, like, super strong. I've done online marathons where I think that was the total.
Oh yeah, we've done one. We did one marathon where we got 190 in the entire marathon. Oh.
Yeah. So already surpassing that's really, really cool, guys. Thank you guys so much for all your donations and just watching if you're just watching.
Also, thanks to all the new followers. We've gotten, like, a lot of followers today. In the past
In the past hour, we've gotten just about 400 followers.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much.
we got 442 today, so that's incredible.
By the way, shoutouts to our follower number. We are at 1,420 followers.
Nice.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Dude, on
really.
Social Blade it still says 1393. Oh,
Not-
that's not.
Look at Twitch.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, it still says 1086 for me. It doesn't update.
Oh, whoops.
I had to like just refresh, so.
You got lucky then, I guess. Feel like RNG.
That's honestly a level I need to go work on. Cranky strats are kind of new there. For forever, I was using Dixie on 6.2, but turns out Cranky's faster, and so I had to adjust to using him in this level, and I don't completely have a strategy worked out for that yet. Again, if you want to see
Wow.
the best tropical freeze runner in the world, without a doubt, go check out Michael_Goldfish. Pretty sure he streams for like 3 people, so go give him a follow if you haven't already, which is probably most of you, so I expect him to have 958 more followers by the end of this run.
He's also a really good Yoshi Story player.
Yeah.
He has incredible records in that. And is actually, I believe, was he the founder for Franker Faces? I think he was like one of the helpers of that. And he also did Project M, so he's done a lot for the community, so he definitely deserves all the followers he can get.
Yep, and I just linked his stream in there, so everyone go follow him.
Nice.
By the way, guys, we reached over 1,000 viewers there for just a second, so that was really cool. Thank you guys so much for sharing and viewing the stream.
So one little static about this game I guess I'll point out, we're here in World 6, which is Donkey Kong Island, after it's been taken over by the Nomads. Since we skipped the opening cutscene, I mean, obviously it's Donkey Kong Country and there's not a lot of storyline necessarily to take in, but your island has been taken over by the, or not the Nomads, but the Snowmads is what they call themselves. Led by Frederick the Walrus, or whatever I guess he is, I'm actually not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a walrus. But there are 8 main levels before you get to the boss. I'm on the 4th level right now. And, oh, whoops. Shit of the day. But yeah, each of the levels is based off of each of the 8 worlds from Donkey Kong Country Returns. So this one, World 4 in Donkey Kong Country Returns was primarily just like an auto-scroller world. So that's why you're hit with the last auto-scroller of this run in this level. It's actually a pretty punishing one if you die, so hopefully I'm not an idiot and take another hit.
To answer your question about the base cam bookmarked, I believe most streamers will not be using face cam. We may have 1 or 2 that might, but 95% of them will not be using it. At least, that is as of now.
And no Enoch will be, because he's going to be playing keyboard during like cutscenes and he wants to show off the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's it for the last auto-scroller in the run. The next level is, it's kind of odd that I think the 3 hardest levels of this world happen to be 6.2, 6.5, and 6.7, which were, I thought, the 3 hardest worlds in Speedrun Donkey Kong Country Returns, so kind of odd how that turned out. But yeah, next up, this level's pretty interesting. There's lots of cool ways, once again, to store momentum off of, like, moving platforms and platforms you're supposed to bounce off of and stuff. So, everyone seemingly uses a different kind of strategy in this level. Mine is I start with Cranky, switch to Dixie midway through for a big boost in the middle, and then I switch back to Cranky at the end. Just kind of my preference on how to do it. But yeah, hopefully I pull off the boosts. Shoutouts to Master Cranks for being able to bounce off of snowflakes. Might not get there in time for the Dixie barrel. If I do, it's gonna be tight. I didn't. Okay, so... I'm just gonna have to take this section slow. I debatably kinda... yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this section slow since I screwed that up. Normally I'd be going through there much faster with Dixie, but I timed my bounce off that one section poorly. Again, all the rotating Kong barrels are based off of universal cycles. Oh, whoops. Alright. Welcome to my Let's Play. I'm used to having Dixie through this section, so it's all kind of messed up in my mind. Well, I'm gonna wait for Cranky here. Alright, so you saw a little bit of the boost earlier in the level. I got the first boost, but without Dixie, I'm not confident. You actually can do that second section with Cranky, but I'm not confident with it at all. It's like pixel perfect where you have to bounce.
So we recently got a $5 donation from Rodriguez Jr. Hey guys, just donating to show my support and keep up the great work. Thank you very much for that donation.
Whoop. Welcome to my Let's Play.
By the way, guys, if you don't know already, you can donate to Doctors Without Borders, which is a charity organization, via PayPal or credit card or debit card, and links are right here.
And when you donate, you can put that towards a specific donation incentive. If you do not put one specifically, it will be put towards the runner's choice or just left alone. So make sure to put it towards something if you wish to.
Yep, please do that. And if you missed out on that, just PM the Twitch channel or some of the mods that are in the SpeedRunsCentral channel at the moment.
Or you can alternatively just do a $1 donation again. Whatever your prerogative is.
Ugh. Figures this is gonna
Also, I
troll
really
me.
love this level, this silhouette level.
Yeah, this is a good level. This one platform is, honest to God, the worst platform in the entire game.
Is that the one you just died on?
Yeah, I just died twice on. It sometimes just randomly will eat your roll, and there's really nothing you can do about it other than die.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah. So this last section is completely based off of when you touch certain points of the platforms. That's what makes the next platforms start to lower. So you just gotta know where to jump on them. And there's a cool trick that makes no sense why it works coming up right here. Normally you have to take this really long, convoluted section, but if you just hold right off that platform, I'm now in the blaster barrel. And I can just completely skip that section. I just have to wait until I know I won't get blocked by anything. Shoutouts to whoever the heck found that. Probably by just accidentally holding right, because it's a platformer, you want to hold right. But yeah, makes sense that that platform, like, that was actually only my second and third deaths of the run, which is, like, I guess a solid death count, even if I've had some slowish levels. Now I don't have to cry myself to sleep thinking I lost the only deathless run ever of this game to the freaking auto-scroller back in World 2. Now I know that that BS platform ate my roll twice. I have to wait for this door to open up, so I like to come over here and grab this guy. Shouts to collectibles %.
By the way, with the PayPal and credit card donations combined, we have just raised over $300 in the first round.
Wait a little bit here to let that go by. Go. Uh-oh. Never taking a hit there. Oop, okay. Gonna have to change my strategy to a little bit slower one here. You ideally want full health coming up here. Ah, okay. I can still make this work. Again, playing this game, you learn the backup strats. And I gotta wait here for a second. Okay. I've spaghettied all over that level many times. Ideally, for that last section, you're at full health, so you can do the correct damage boosts, and you'll just lose Dixie. But because I screwed up a couple of times earlier in the level, since I've done that a lot, I've learned what I need to adjust for. Yeah, the alternative there, if you want to take it much safer, is just do a Kong Pao, which is a mechanic in the game they threw in that's, again, mostly for casual gaming, but it actually can help if you want to use some safe strats. Essentially, just depending on which Kong buddy you have with you, you can turn all the enemies on the screen into a certain item. So when you have Dixie, it turns them into extra hearts. But I don't elect to do that. Keeping my speedruns pure. Literally the hardest part of the game, breaking Ramby barrels as you land on them instead of rolling off. Another level where Cranky's Pogo allows for us to do some cool strats while on Ramby, instead of losing time having to just jump everywhere. All that's based off of universal cycles, so I wasn't really losing time there.
Also, just to let you guys know, don't know if I already said this, but we do have SpeedRunsCentral t-shirts available from Redbubble. The design is courtesy of Nasai, so if you want to scroll down in the info section of the site, you can click on the image, or I can link it too.
Delay just a second there to set this up. Alright, and so here we are at the final boss. Frederick. This guy is in before Chokes. This guy is like Choke City. Like, I compare him a lot to Bowser Throws in Mario 64. His hitbox is deceivingly small. And you have to hit him 9 times. If you don't go 9 for 9 on hits on him, you lose a ton of time for every miss. It's actually most painful in the first 2 phases if you miss him. So, if I miss him in the first 2 phases, I lose about a minute. If I miss him in the 3rd phase, then I lose about like 25 seconds. So, and we're keeping Cranky. It does make this one section where the platforms go like get blasted up in the air and then come back down through the lava. It does make that a little scarier because you don't have an ability to like hover and stay up in the air for longer with Cranky. But Cranky's cane, another thing that's overpowered about it is that it extends its hitbox downwards. So it effectively makes Frederick's hitbox a little bigger. Also, he can be a jerk and just like dodge them even if you throw them square in his face. Alright, so here we go. 1 for 1. See, like, I almost missed that. 2 for 2. 3 for 3. Also, to any of my Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze community members, this is where you know what to spam, the Kevin Turtles. Actually got bad RNG there, which is odd to get. He jumped maximum times.
By the way, just let me know when I need to stop the timer. Like a minute
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It'll be basically right after I hit him, but we actually are timing it a little different. So... I actually forget in our community, do we do it on punch, or do we do it on, like, when he dings in the background? I think we do it on punch now. Okay, cool. Alright. So this is a big phase right here. 4 for 4. 5 for 5. 6 for 6, okay. We didn't miss him on either of the big ones. Alright, let's see what kind of RNG we get here. Alright, so again, right there he gave me the scary... That's actually the fastest RNG, that's what you want, but it's much scarier because, again, with Diddy and Dixie, that's... You can just kind of hover over the lava. With Cranky, you have to make that big jump, which can be a little terrifying right at the end of the run. Also, I need to stop screwing around and not take another hit here with Cranky. Alright, so final phase. Oh, no, I need... Alright, here we go. And I went over 3 on it. The worst part about it is if you miss one, you don't really have time to line it back up.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You don't really have time to line up the next shot, so it usually snowballs into missing all 3. Hopefully I go 3 for 3 on the second try. Here we go. Alright.
So, we just got a...
Okay, and time. So yeah, as you can see, that was the same thing I was talking about there. If you hit the first one, it sets it up much better for the next 2 hits. But because I missed it the first time, then I couldn't really adjust myself to get the other hits. So it looks like I might have had like a high 139 or something, or like a low 140. Which is about 2 minutes off personal best, that's fine.
We just got a $300 donation. Bamu the gang says this is an awesome DKC Pop Freeze run with an excellent commentary by SpikeVegeta. Let's keep the donations coming, everyone. Thank you so much for $300 donation.
$300 off. Nice. Also, I did stop the timer a little late, so it's a little bit lower than a 39.45.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, I'm perfectly happy with a 139 in this run. Again, record right now is 135.45, I want to say, by Michael Goldfish.
Cool.
It's a little off because I think we determined that like my load times are about 40 seconds like worse than Michael's is, but I mean, it's still, if you have time, go check his out. He's incredibly consistent in this game. And if one of my community members wants to once again post the DKC TF leaderboards, all those are good streamers and all deserve more than 5 viewers. So go check them all out. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Happy with the run. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for running in our marathon. We're over 1,000 viewers right now, so everyone go follow SpikeVegeta. The link will be in the comment section. So
awesome. With that, I guess I should cut stream and let you guys get over to Talon.
Yep, next will be Talon 2461. He'll be doing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Hero Story. There's no donation incentive for that, but we will set up his run. So thank you guys so much and hope you enjoyed SpikeVegeta's run.
Alright, see you everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move you out and put SpikeVegeta in here. Actually, yeah. Put Talon in here.
SpikeVegeta moved to SpeedRunsCentral, mumbled by Gamer Omi. Gamer Omi moved to Setup Room. Forever 4258 moved to Setup Room by Gamer Omi.